Hello YouTube, Sam here from youtube.com/onlivegamer for the new Boston, and in this tutorial we're going to be taking a look at ByRef. Now if you remember from the previous tutorial we took a look at ByVal, which is passing a variable to a sub or a function so that it can use that value inside of the sub or function, but that value is not changed outside of the sub. So with ByRef, what you can do is reference a variable that is outside of your sub or function and change it so that it will change anywhere else in your program from where you call the sub or function. Now this may be a little confusing to you, so let's go ahead and create a demo application. We'll go ahead and select new project. We will call it ByRef. Select Windows Forms application and click OK. So we'll wait for that to load. And now let's go ahead and come over here to our toolbox. We'll add a label, and we will set the label to no value entered. And then we'll set the name of the label to label variable. Okay, so let's go ahead and double click on form 1 to open up our code, and we'll zoom in here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to create a variable inside of our form 1 load sub. So we'll dim num1 as integer, and we will set it equal to 0. Now let's go ahead and show that in the message box. Message box.show num1.toString. Now I haven't used toString in a while, but it's always good to use that whenever you're putting numbers on labels or message boxes or anywhere that uses a string as the argument. Now what we're going to do is we are going to make a sub that will increment num1. So we'll start off by using the keyword private sub, and then we'll call this increment variable. Now inside of the arguments for increment variable, we're going to use ByRef, and then we'll just do num1 as integer. So what this is going to do is it's going to let us reference a variable. Now we don't have to use the value, we don't have to use the name num1, it can be anything, so we can just do x, and whatever we put in the arguments is going to be referenced, and inside of this sub it's going to be called whatever variable is right here, which is x. So we can go ahead and do x plus equals 5, or not 1, 5. Now if we come up here and we just call increment variable and pass num1 to that, what it's going to do is it's going to add 5 to this num1 right here, because we're referencing it and not sending a copy of it to this sub. So we can do message box dot show num1.toString. Let's go ahead and change our label accordingly. So we'll do label variable dot text equals num1.toString, and we'll go ahead and do that one more time after this. Dot text equals num1.toString. Okay, so let's go ahead and run our program and see what happens. So you can see that we get the value 0 right here, and then if we click OK, we're going to get the value 5 because we used increment variable and it referenced num1 right here. And if we go ahead and click OK, you can see that it'll load the form and it sets the label to 5. Now all of this was done before the form 1 loaded, so you don't actually see it set the value of 0 to the label. So thanks for watching, guys. Go ahead and make a couple subs or functions or whatever you want that use ByRef so that you can reference other variables that are inside of other subs. You can also combine ByRef and ByVal in arguments, so you could have ByRef x as integer and then ByVal y as integer. You can mix and match these any way you want. So go ahead, practice some of that, and then once you're familiar with that and you're not going to forget it, go ahead and move on to the next tutorial.